Okay, so I had to take the Mac tack off because there was an area that I could see some of the paint had spilled under into. So there's some cleaning up that I'm going to have to do around some of the edges here, but you get the general effect. Once this dries a bit more, I'll be able to sand and remove some of the areas that there was some overpaint on. But and because it's really warm out today, so the paint's getting very tacky very quickly. But you can see the difference, and even from far away, it really wouldn't be that visible. But I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff, so I am going to clean it up and sand it, put another coat on, and it'll be fine. But I'm going to move on to getting the bike prepared to mount everything else. Okay, so here we are with the fairings removed, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. There's a lot of little push pins and whatnot. There's lots of videos online already of how to remove these things, so I'm not going to bother with that. Just I've got a little box here that I've got an organization system for what came from where. There's one guy who says you have to remove the whole. I think if you want to take off your entire front headlight assembly, you would have to remove your windshield mount, but I'm not doing that. I can get easy enough access to the exhaust with just the side fairings off. And there they are, laying nice in the trailer. As well, you have to take off the windshield. Actually, I don't even think I needed to take off the windshield, but there's a bunch of different pop pins and stuff like that. So, to be honest, I'm hoping that getting this back together isn't going to be a real pain. I'm sure it will be, but in any case, I can now start adding all of the parts that I want to add with this off, like the frame sliders and the exhaust, and see how that goes. Okay, so here's the stock exhaust that I've removed. Basically, to remove this, there's two of these brackets that attach the header pipes to the headers, and they're pretty easy to take off. You take a 12mm socket and pop the two bolts off. Now, as far as holding the rest of the actual exhaust on, there's two bolts that you're going to find just underneath the rear brake assembly. You move that aside and you can see there, that's where they were. There's that long one there that's held on by a nut, and there's one more bolt that's still in there, right there, that was holding on this side, that has this nut that's welded in place. You can't actually take that off. So that's what's holding it on. So it's pretty easy to remove. And then, just gonna get down here. Ugh. Having a lift would definitely help. So here's the headers. Sorry about the sun. See if I can block that. There we go. So I've already started to put the one header pipe on, and I left the other one off so far, so you can see where you're putting that. These two bolts here that are attached, all you're going to do is you're going to take your new pipe, switch hands here, you're going to slide it into place. The sun's messing me up here. There we go. You're going to slide it into place and put that bracket on top of those bolts, and then you're going to take those nuts that you took off in the beginning and reattach it. So since the sun's screwing me up here, and I just wanted to give you an idea, that's how you attach the header pipes, and then the rest, they've got these little bits here that have springs that are going to attach the rest of the pipes back down to the silencer, but I'll show you more soon. So here's the accessories that the Scorpion comes with. You got 4 springs, and then you've got 6 bolts. I'm kind of concerned because every single one of these bolts, except this one, has a nut on it. But hopefully, as I look through the instructions, it's not necessary. Hopefully somebody at the factory didn't forget to put one on. But I suppose they just look like regular nylon locking nuts, about 5/16. So I'll be able to get one even if they didn't include one accidentally. Well, here I am now in the dark trying to figure out how to finish this exhaust install. You can see I've got the exhaust actually installed, but I'm having difficulty getting at the retaining bolt at the top of the silencer that holds it to the bracket. I have a feeling that I've done this in the wrong order, that I should have put that on and then mounted it up, but because Scorpion doesn't send you any actual instructions, just a line diagram, there's no actual instructions for mounting it. There's also a bracket under here that there is no the bracket that actually goes to the pipe, you can see before the silencer that holds it on. There was no instructions on where that came, or that attached. I was able to figure out which bolt I had to take off, but very annoying, to say the least, that Scorpion has such a lack of instructions. In any case, if I have to, I'm going to have to remove the entire system now, and I'm not very happy about that because it's getting late, and I still have all this, all these parts to put back on, and I'm not a big fan of doing this at night in the dark, but it is what it is. I got to finish it up. But anyway, so far it's going on okay. It's just that last little bit, the retaining bracket. There's no way of getting an Allen wrench up there to access the nut to tighten it on. So it's a real pain in the ass, to be honest. Okay, so I was finally able to get everything connected. That up there is the bolt that you can see I was talking about, and on the other side is the nut, if you can see it. So you can see that there's very little room to work in this bracket area. So what I ended up doing was just taking a small little Allen bit. It's a number 6, and I just was able to get it up in there, use a wrench to hold it, and used a ratchet on the backside to actually tighten it. I was a little bit concerned because I've got these peg lowering kits here, and I was worried that there wasn't going to be enough clearance, but actually there is. There's just enough room with the even with the peg lowering kit there to get it on. So so that's it. I just have to tighten the bolts on the headers, and that's it. And you can see my slider frame here. I'll put the sliders on after I get the fairings back on, which ought to be fun in the dark. But I've got my trusty work light over here that's lighting me up. And one thing I am concerned about is that on here, here being the exhaust, on this side, you can't actually see it, on just where my fingers are on the other side, there's a lambda sensor port, and they say if you've got a lambda sensor to install it back in there, and there isn't one on this bike. So the issue is that there's a big hole up on the top of the exhaust right now. In one of their diagrams, they show, I'm just going to move the light over here so hopefully you can see it. In one of their diagrams, they show a bolt in there. If you don't have a creeper, a good shop creeper with a neck support that lifts up, I suggest you get one before you try doing this. It's the only thing that saved my ass. There you go. You can see the port here. This is where the lambda sensor would be, and I'm assuming there's supposed to be, it's threaded, so I'm assuming that there is supposed to be a bolt that would come with this to close that up, and there is not one. So I've already written the company to ask them if I'm indeed missing this, and I'm assuming that if I find something, a bolt that's just threaded for that, I'll be fine. But of course at this time of night I'm not going to get that, so I don't even know if I can ride this tomorrow, which is a pain.